A webinar on machine learning, deep learning, hands-on experiments. RDBS Geeta Deep Enterprises. In association with Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, Ichilkaranji. Sponsored by Institution of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers.
Welcome to our Day 2 session of Machine Learning Deep Learning webinar. Today we are going to discuss how to configure a neural network after discussing what is meant by convolutional layer, what is meant by particular layers used for changing the data shapes, what is required in a particular layered model when there are different types of inputs and outputs to be handled while processing particular image processing application. There may be particular image considered for processing inside convolutional neural network, the image which is of type 3D or 2D. First of all, 2D image is nothing but grayscale image and 3D image is nothing but colored image because it has third dimension which defines the color configuration required to represent a particular digital pixel. RGB is the third definition defined for representing particular image in color format. Well, that is a totally basic thing related to digital image which we are not going to discuss in these sessions of MLDL. We are directly going to utilize machine learning, deep learning data inside our configured model for deep learning application. So, in case of configuring deep learning network, there are multiple layers in depth connected, such as having neurons having a large number of hidden layers. Hence we call it as a deep learning. Well, basically what it is and how it is configured, let us see in the presentation slide that I am sharing on the screen. Well, from yesterday's experience, I would like to repeat few things that if few things are not visible to you during this first session of the day, you are panically putting your comments in the group. So do not hesitate to ask the help, but there is a little time required to understand the things and then execute. I think you should follow such a strategy that you understand first from the entire video. Then, like yesterday's evening, I am going to share one document with you into which all the explanations are covered, and then you follow your experimentation. This way, all the 9 days we are going to cover up all the things. One of the day, if I am finding a very busy schedule in my regular work, it may happen that I am not able to share that particular session document with you. In that case, again, I am telling you, do not get panic. I will share everything that is going to get covered in this webinar. Well, as far as experimentation is concerned, right from first day, first session, we are discussing that we are covering this experimentation on Windows platform just because maximum number of participants are having Windows platform only. Well, if you are going on Ubuntu, you will find much easier steps to follow while installation, and there may be less number of errors that you have faced while yesterday's session or after yesterday's session if you have tried installation steps. Well, let's go and continue our session with the discussion on presentation slides. Done. Thumb up. So we are now going to discuss convolutional neural network which is been used for image processing based applications in deep learning projects or research works. Now, what is meant by convolution is the main aspect while considering convolutional neural networks. So in mathematics, convolution is a mathematical operation on two functions f and g that produces a third function expressing how the shape of one is modified by the other. Most importantly, here we are going to consider two functions f and g such that the outcome should be the expected output. So in many cases, g can be a structuring element and f can be a particular image. So if g is applied on f, there will be something output. So in simply image processing language, if we consider edge detection application, so in that case we are having one particular filter designed by some method. Suppose it is a Canny edge detection method or Sobel edge detection method. Then in that case, structuring element is important to find out the edges in the image. Now edges in the image are nothing but the difference between the two colors or two shades and the boundary defined by these two regions. So that boundary extraction is nothing but edge detection. So in this case, f can be the image and g can be the structuring element. So now the term convolution refers to both the result function and the process of computing it. So it does not mean like a edge detection application simply. Convolution is the process in which output is considered with respect to two functions f and g. So total processing and getting the output, and for that whatever the required algorithm is, implementation of that, which is nothing but the computation, is the whole term defined by convolution word. So it is nothing but integral product of two functions after one is reversed and shifted. Reversed and shifted means in terms of a signal processing applications, one can understand the reversing operation and shifting operation. So convolution process can be understood from this diagram where f and g are the two signals. F cross g, which is nothing but cross product. The output can be a variety of considerations, but only significant type of output can be considered where we get sawtooth waveform. So if g is a triangular waveform and f is a square waveform, then f cross g will give us a triangular or a sawtooth output waveform. In the similar fashion, g into f or g cross f will also give us the sawtooth waveform. So there is a fixed output strategy considered in convolution operation, which is totally different than cross correlation or autocorrelation operations. So this signal processing task is very much important to understand. Next to that, the integral evaluated for all values of shift producing the convolution function is nothing but the outcome from integral product of f and g. Next to that, some features of convolution are similar to cross correlation. Well, we are not trying to totally differentiate convolution and cross correlation. For case of real valued functions of continuous or discrete variable, it differs from cross correlation. That means only in that either f of x or g of x is reflected about the y-axis. Thus it is a cross correlation of fx and g of minus x, or f of minus x and g of x. For continuous functions, the cross correlation operator is the adjoint of the convolutional operator. So this is what the similarity and difference between the two. Next to that, convolution has applications that include probability, statistics, computer vision, natural language processing, image and signal processing, engineering and differential equations. The convolution can be defined for functions on Euclidean space and other groups. Now, as far as we are concerned with Euclidean space, we can consider one of the application for finding out matching faces out of the eigenvector. Now, what is eigenvector is the main important task to be considered. Eigenvector, suppose now we have number of participants in our webinar. If we consider all the faces of the people in the webinar and we try to prepare one two-dimensional face from each face, which is nothing but the grayscale face appearance, and if we perform a stacking operation of each of the face, so one face image and then second face image and then third face image, all these faces are arranged in a stack, like a stack of books. That appearance of a vector of images is called as an eigenvector. For simplicity, we are considering this example. Now suppose there is another face image from which this face image from the eigenvector we have to perform the matching, and we are going to identify the matching face from the eigenvector. In such a case, comparing this face image with the eigenvector images is done by means of a Euclidean distance calculation. In Euclidean distance, first pixel of the test image is compared with the first pixel of first image in the eigenvector. Likewise, distance between these pixels one to one is calculated, which we call it as a Euclidean space. Hence, Euclidean space is a most important part in a convolution processing. Suppose another example we consider, periodic functions such as discrete time Fourier transform can be defined on a circle and convolved by periodic convolution. So this is a part of a signal processing. Again, image processing is the extension of a signal processing application. So all these are related to each other. A discrete convolution can be defined for functions on the set of integers. Now set of integers, if we consider particular image and if it is of 8-bit image, now if we consider a particular image and if it is of type 8-bit, then each pixel is defined with the number lying between 0 to 255. Now 0 to 255 will not be having any decimal part. So all these numbers are again set of integers. So again here comes the one of the application as a convolution is the application done on set of integer. So generalizations of convolution have applications in the field of numerical analysis, numerical linear algebra, and in the design and implementation of finite impulse response filters in signal processing. So finite impulse response filter is nothing but noise removal or extracting required parts from the image. That can be the best understanding considered while convolution operation. Next to that, the name convolutional neural network we are considering. The name convolutional neural network indicates that the network employs a mathematical operation called convolution. So what is convolution we have understood already. So if that is considered in neural network architecture, then it becomes convolutional neural network. How it is going to be considered as a convolutional neural network in the upcoming slides you are going to understand. Next to that, convolution is a specialized kind of linear operation. And convolutional networks are simply neural networks that use convolution in place of general matrix multiplication in at least one of their layers. So if we consider artificial neural network simply, then artificial neural network is going to perform matrix multiplications using bias and weights. Now what is bias and weights is a part of main discussion. Bias is assigned at particular age joining between two neurons, and weight is assigned at a particular neuron. So whenever a particular value enters into a particular neuron, that value is multiplied by weight. Now if that neuron sends that value to a different neuron, then while traveling on the edge there is a particular value which gets multiplied with that particular value and that gets modified. So here the modification is occurred because of biasing, and when it reaches to the next neuron, again there is a particular weight assigned which again modifies the value. So this is weight bias weight mechanism, and this happens in artificial neural network in matrix multiplication format. So in case of convolutional neural network, this is not a direct multiplication, there is a convolution associated with all the operations. Now how the convolution operates is nothing but based on structuring element. So structuring element is again defined by means of a kernels. What are kernels and all we are going to understand further. So now let's understand the architecture of convolutional neural network. A convolutional neural network consists of an input and an output layer as well as multiple hidden layers. That's why we call it as a fully connected deep neural network. When there are multiple hidden layers, there is a CNN. Now, it does not mean that ANN is not having multiple hidden layers. Well, there are also multiple hidden layers in artificial neural network, which is simply used for classification applications, but there is no convolution operation involved. Here, convolution operation is involved. The hidden layer of a CNN typically consists of a series of convolutional layers that convolve with a multiplication or other dot product. The activation function is commonly a ReLU layer. So ReLU is here is ReLU here is rectified linear unit layer and is subsequently followed by additional convolutions such as pooling layers, fully connected layers, normalization layers, referred to as hidden layers because their inputs and outputs are masked by the activation function and final convolution. So why the activation function is important is the main thing considered in the last line. Well, alternatively for ReLU, you can use softmax also, but in most of the image processing applications, if we use ReLU layer, it improves the performance in terms of accuracy or whatever the application is. Next to that, though the layers are colloquially referred to as convolutions, this is only by convention. Mathematically, it is a sliding dot product or cross correlation. This has significance for the indices in the matrix in that it affects how weight is determined at a specific index point. Now, finding out weight at specific index point means suppose there is a particular leaf image, like suppose there is a leaf image of a tomato plant, and on that leaf there is a particular dot because of a disease. Then identifying that dot can be the consideration of application. To identify that dot, which operation is to be performed is the main task considered at the time of finalizing architecture. Now, to identify that dot and boosting the features required to identify the dot is the operation associated with dot product or cross correlation. And identifying the index of that particular dot is the operation associated with the architecture of convolutional neural network. Next to that, when programming a CNN, the input is a tensor with shape, number of images, image width, image height, image depth. Now, while trying the installation of a TensorFlow yesterday, we had defined x1 is equal to tf dot constant into the bracket 1, 2, 3, 4. These four numbers can be connected here in our explanation, that 1 will indicate number of images, 2 will indicate image width, 3 will indicate image height, and 4 as an image depth. All these numbers together will form a tensor. Okay, so vector representing all these information related to image is called as a tensor. Then after passing through a convolutional layer, the image becomes abstracted to a feature map with shape. Number of images, feature map width, feature map height, feature map channels. As we have considered example of this tomato leaf disease identification. In that case, disease area is the feature map width. Disease area having a particular height is a feature map height. And disease color will be responsible to define feature map channels. So if it is a color image processed thoroughly, it will become a 3 channels. It will be having 3 channels separately. So while processing, these 2 important things are to be considered to represent a particular vector in terms of a tensor. So what are the attribute requirements in the convolutional neural network? We are going to consider convolutional kernels defined by a width and height hyperparameters. Now here the word kernel comes. A kernel is a matrix which is slide across the image and multiplied with the input such that the output is enhanced in a certain desirable manner. Now suppose in this particular slide, we are trying to elaborate the kernel operation. So the box shaped matrix represented at the left side is the input image. The box shaped matrix represented in the middle is the kernel function, and at the output side you can see the output recovered. So here is the kernel operation, which is nothing but the structuring element. So due to structuring element application onto the required boxed consideration, so 7664 is the 4 element box considered in the matrix, into which the structuring element is applied, and accordingly the output is obtained. So this operation continues in a sliding window manner. So window of this 3x3 filter is going to slide across the image step by step. This way how the kernel function works on the input image to provide a required output. So required output is in this case responsible to have boosted feature maps in relation with required application. So in case of a deceased dot detection in tomato leaf image, it may happen that dot features are to be boosted, and accordingly this required boosting must have some design of a structuring element, which design depends on the kernel function. So kernel function definition is responsible to identify a particular feature map from the image. So coming back to the slide, the number of input channels and output channels hyperparameters. So architectural requirement of convolutional neural network is important in terms of input channels and output channels. So if it is a color image, if it is a grayscale image, you have to specify particular channel size. Next to that, the main important requirements are the depth of the convolutional filter must be equal to the number of channels of the input feature map. So if particular image is of color type and you had defined particular dimensions in the input layer of the convolutional architecture, then input dimensions and input data must match in terms of dimensions. Otherwise, there will be some error. So it will not be feasible to process. It's obvious to be considered. Next to that, convolutional layer convolve the input and pass its result to the next layer. So this first input layer is a convolutional layer, which will convolve the input data and pass to the next layer. This is similar to the response of a neuron in the visual cortex to a specific stimulus. Means like the image just now we have seen. So this kernel function is nothing but the convolutional operation, which is responsible to pass the data as output towards the next layer. Next to that, each convolutional neuron processes data only for its receptive field. Well, first convolutional layer in the architecture is responsible to process the data as per the requirement from the second layer. So this way how the architecture design works. Next to that, again we can understand the kernel operation here in depth. Again, if image is multiplied with the kernel, the output will be in terms of 7. Suppose 0 minus 1 0 minus 1 5 minus 1 0 minus 1 0 is the kernel filter applied on 2 2 2 2 3 2 2 2 2 matrix. Finally, it is responsible to give 7 as the output. So another aspect here can be considered that convolutional kernel functions are responsible to reduce the data size. So if image is large in size and if it is required to be processed inside convolutional neural network, then input layer is responsible to reduce its size and extract the required feature map only as the output. So it's your task to understand that how these things are going to work, or in upcoming session I will explain how it is going to work actually. So this can be the main operation involved in kernel operations of images. Next to that, although fully connected feed-forward neural networks can be used to learn features as well as classify data, as like we have discussed regarding neural network strategy, like artificial neural networks are mostly used for classification operations. So it may happen that convolutional neural networks can be used for feature extraction only or classification applications. So it has variety of considerations. Next to that, a very high number of neurons would be necessary even in a shallow architectures due to the very large input sizes associated with the images where each pixel is a relevant variable. Now suppose there is a 100 by 100 size of an image, then 10,000 pixels are there in the image. So 10,000 weights for each neuron in the second layer. So you can consider that how much size of architecture will consume how much amount of memory, because one pixel in image is represented by one integer number, and integer is responsible to occupy 2 bytes of data. So 10,000 bytes of a data will be occupied by single image. Now what if there are 10,000 images? So such a considerations are responsible for considering the architectures in convolutional neural network. Next to that, the convolutional operations bring a solution to this problem as it reduces the number of free parameters. Just like this one, the kernel function is responsible to reduce the size of image to only one number, say 1. This is how it has been explained. Next to that, for instance, regardless of image size, tiling regions of size 5 by 5 each with same shared weights requires only 25 learnable parameters. Now suppose it is a 100 by 100 image. If it is divided into 5 by 5 windows, then processing requirements can be divided into multiple tasks. We call it as a parallel processing applications. So shared weights means for particular block, whatever the weight requirements are for neurons, these similar weights can be used for second block and third block and fourth block likewise. So this will reduce weight requirement matrix. So if there is a 10,000 pixel image, then it may not be necessary to define 10,000 weights also. You can define 2,500 weights, 1/4 of it. Likewise, the consideration is here. So by using regularized weights over fewer parameters, the vanishing gradient and exploding gradient problems seen during backpropagation in traditional neural networks are avoided. So there are two types of networks: feed forward and feed backward. Next to that, forward propagation and back propagation. So back propagation here you can consider as a simply feedback given to the neural network. So whenever there is a accuracy parameter estimation involved in convolutional neural network, this accuracy is responsible to change the weight for each iteration out of defined number of iterations while training a particular convolutional neural network. So first of all, I would like to tell you that convolutional neural networks are not simply networks designed for particular applications. You have to see the training parameter and testing parameters associated with them. So you have to train these networks first, and then you have to test the data, and accordingly you have to estimate the accuracy. So while doing these operations, you may come to identify that particular accuracy changes with respect to number of training iterations. That is estimated in terms of gradient descent estimations. Now what is gradient descent is nothing but, suppose particular input is required to be transformed into desired output. In that case, whatever the output comes from convolutional neural, that is compared with the desired output, and whatever error comes, that is nothing but gradient descent estimation. So this gradient descent should not be very large. This gradient value should not be very large. It should go on decreasing. So we call it as a descent. So gradient descent is the main expectation in the convolutional neural network designing. So vanishing gradient is the word used here in the slide. That defines the gradient descent operation. Next to that, pooling is the one of the layer involved in convolutional neural network. So what is the main significance of pooling layer that we are going to understand? So this layer is responsible to convert the data into small clusters. Suppose most of the time there are the images
of the size 16 by 16 or 32 by 32, like CIFAR dataset for classification of animals or classification or identification of street signs, traffic signs, likewise. So such images are required to be converted into small clusters of 2 by 2 size. How to convert them? That one of the operation can be understood, that there is, suppose this type of image having a number of pixels with these specific values with x and y size, then this operation of pooling will convert input 4 by 4 matrix into 2 by 2 matrix by using clustering process. So one can understand from this image that maximum value from each cluster is extracted as a feature map as an output of pooling layer. So average pooling uses the average value from each of a cluster of neurons at the prior layer. So this is not an average value, this is max value. So max pooling is responsible for finding out max value. Average pooling is responsible for finding out average value. Another important concept of CNN is in pooling operation is nonlinear downsampling. There are several nonlinear functions to implement pooling, among which max pooling is the most common. So as like we have seen this operation, max pooling is explained. So this is responsible to identify exact features from a particular image. So most of the time, it is my observation that particular image is having feature map associated with maximum contrast information pixels. So max pooling is responsible to find out such a pixels from the regions of the image, and these pixels are considered as a feature map for further classification approaches. So max pooling is most of the time used to identify feature map. So number of max pooling in the network will be responsible to identify maximum features from the image. Well, obviously there is a curve rising and then falling, so you have to stop at the peak value during these operations. So pooling layer, why it is used, then progressively reduces the spatial size of the pixels. Then pooling layer is used between two different convolutional layers, such that second convolutional layer will not consume that much amount of size of memory. Next to that, pooling layer operates independently over every depth slice of the input and resizes it spatially. So that is responsible to boost the features rather than discarding particular parts. And next to that, 2 by 2 applied with a stride of 2 downsamples at every depth slice in the input by 2 along both width and height, discarding 75% of the activations. So this shows that only 25% data will be remaining from the image when particular pooling operation is applied at the output of a convolutional neural network. So if it is a 100 by 100 size, then you will get 25 by 25 size as an output feature map. Next to that, connecting neurons in a fully connected manner. Fully connected means fully connected layers connect every neuron in one layer to every neuron in another layer. So if there are A, B, C, D, E, then A will have connection with B, C, D, E. And in similar fashion, B will have connection with A, C, D, E. Likewise. So if we connect all the so it is kind of a mesh network topology if we talk in terms of network point of view. So mesh connection is nothing but a fully connected network. Next to that, this principle is same as the traditional multilayer perceptron neural network. So earlier there were no convolutional neural network. In multilayer perceptron neural network, it was the strategy that to connect all the neurons to each other, so that it was responsible to boost the accuracy of the applications required. Next to that, flattened matrix goes through a fully connected layer to classify the images. Now flattening is one of the operations involved. If flattening output is passed through fully connected network, the actual class of the image can be shown by this network. Next to that, receptive field. Receptive field is nothing but the input of each layer. The neural networks, each neurons receives input from some number of locations in the previous layer. In a fully connected layer, each neuron receives input from every element of the previous layer. So it means if we use fully connected layer network in a particular convolutional neural network, the output of particular layer, convolutional layer, it can be considered for example, will be totally received at the input of the fully connected layer. So if there are 32 by 32 neurons in a convolutional neural network, so all the 32 and all the 32 from 32 by 32 outputs will be considered as an input to fully connected network. Next to that, typically the same area of a square shape 5 by 5 is considered. So the input area of a neuron is called the receptive field. So receptive field is an important aspect in fully connected layer, which depends totally on the previous layer while introducing a particular architecture. So this is the difference between actually particular convolutional neural network and fully connected network. If network is fully connected, there is no loss in terms of elements. But in case of convolutional neural network, there is a reduction in the size of data. Weights. Now weights we have already discussed what are those, how those are associated with particular neurons. So the vector of weights and the bias are called filters and represent particular features of the input. So that's the main identifying statement from this slide. Now next to that, why CNN is considered for image classification, identification, recognition applications. So earlier, as we have seen that multi-layer perceptron models were available, these models were having higher configuration requirements. Means it is a kind of a fully connected network. So as we have seen, fully connected network will have that much number of neurons with respect to data handling requirement. So if it is a 1000 by 1000 pixel image, it will have 3 million weights associated with each channel. So one can consider that how much processing will be required for one image only. Now in case of a classification or recognition applications, it is all the time necessary to train the model for large data set like 5000, 10,000 images. So in such a cases, computational complexity consideration is also important aspect, and hence reducing the size of data is the main important consideration while considering CNN without compromising in terms of performance. So as we have seen earlier, CIFAR 10 is the name of the dataset available freely on the internet. So you can Google this for dataset. All the images in this dataset are of type 32 by 32 by 3. Means all are having color images with the size 32 by 32. So 3 represents it is a color channel. Next to that, 32 by 32 by 3 will have 3072 weights if we take the multiplication. So if the image is of type 200 by 200, it will have 1,20,000 weights. So such a network architecture will require a large amount of computational processings and hence higher configurations of machines. So which may not be feasible all the time, and hence we are sticking with the CNN architectures. So this ignores locality of reference in the image data, both computationally and semantically. That's why CNNs are better compared to other fully connected networks. Next to that, convolutional neural network are biologically inspired variants of multilayer perceptrons that are designed to emulate the behavior of a visual cortex. Now, biologically inspired means what? Sometimes first training while any mathematical computation to a particular human being requires a step-by-step process. So like if we consider 5th standard problem, then there will be a requirement to represent every number in terms of its place value. Like suppose 134 number is to be represented, then it was been represented as a 100 plus 30 plus 4. But as the standard or the student goes in the next standard, 134 is the simply consideration that it is a value greater than 100, and also there is a 3 number which has value greater than 10. So that is the understanding growth in a particular brain, and this particular growth in the brain is the consideration for designing convolutional neural network. So as the convolutional neural network goes on training with the multiple iterations, it becomes more mature while identifying particular value. These models mitigate the challenges posed by the MLP architecture by exploiting the strong spatially local correlation present in natural images. As opposed to MLPs, CNNs have the following distinguishing features. Let's see which are those features. 3D volumes of neurons. The layers of CNN have neurons arranged in 3 dimensions, width, height and depth, where each neuron inside a convolutional layer is connected to only a small region of the layer before it called a receptive field. Distinct types of layers, both locally and completely connected, are stacked to form a CNN architecture. Now, what is meant by local connectivity? For example, the learned filters produce the strongest response to a spatially local input pattern. Now, if we consider the stacking of the outputs, the non-linear filters that become increasingly global, so that the network first creates representation of small parts of the input, then from them assembles representations of larger area. These larger areas are again defined by small pixels. So the regions responsive to pixel space become very high in size, large in size. So stacking is important while considering particular filtering process, and this filtering process is nothing but the convolution process associated with CNN. Now, why CNN? Again, shared weights, like we said, 100 by 100 image will get 25 by 25 size feature maps, and each feature map can have common weight structure for processing requirements, and those common weight structures are improved with respect to training steps. So replicating a particular field is the main aspect while considering shared weights phenomena. And second thing is pooling. Pooling is responsible to downsample the size. So downsampling is nothing but in terms of a maximum value or averaging value. These are the two main reasons. Next to that, finally we can conclude why CNNs are best applications for recognition identification applications in image processing. Together, these properties allow CNNs to achieve better generalization on vision problems. Next to that, weight sharing dramatically reduces the number of free parameters learned. Hence, processing is more powerful, and hence, finally, within a short time span, we get similar accurate output compared to MLP processing requirements. So this was enough for today's session. Let's continue with the experimentation in the upcoming session for configuring the CNN architecture using Keras TensorFlow and printing the architecture, and we will consider one of the application by considering Keras inbuilt dataset available for experimentation.
So here we have discussed in details of deep learning configuration of the neural network. I hope you have understood convolutional neural network, max pooling layer, dropout layer and significance of dense layer in our configuration of neural network. Well, today we have covered up entire discussion of which layer has what kind of a significance in configuring a particular neural network model. Tomorrow we are going to cover up hands-on related to this discussion to configure network model and applying it to predefined layered predefined data set inside a Keras package and its performance of application. Well, Keras has inbuilt multiple types of datasets. We will discuss in detail regarding this. Thank you.